right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Sunday, January 25th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live, remotely. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. So, Clayton, we are remote. We were going to be in studio. We were going to have a very special guest. All that got canceled because of the weather. Bad weather, bad storms, bad weekend overall, I would say. Weather did a lot of damage this weekend to the BO, to the show. But we're here. We're remote. We're ready to plow. So, Clayton, on this weather storm, snowstorm, ice-ridden weekend, can you give us a plow for the box office weekend of Friday, January 23rd? 23rd.
Yeah. The most important plow of the weekend,
Yes.
I would say.
Yes.
Number one, Mercy made $11.2 million in its first frame. Number two, Avatar Fire and Ash made $7 million, down 52%. It lost 150 theaters. It's at $378.4 million in its sixth weekend of release. Number three, Zootopia 2 made $5.7 million, down 38%. It lost 170 theaters. It's at $401.4 million in its ninth weekend of release. Number four, The Housemaid made $4.2 million, down 51%. It lost 94 theaters. It's at $115.4 million in its sixth weekend of release. Number five, 28 years later, The Bone Temple made $3.6 million, down 71%. No theater change. It's at $20.7 million in its second weekend of release. And I'm trying to get to this next one. The numbers. Marty Supreme. Okay, hold on. I'm having technical difficulties.
Hold on. Technical difficulties.
Number
There we go.
6, Marty Supreme made $3.5 million, down 36%. It lost 6 theaters. It's at $86.2 million in its sixth weekend of release. Number 7, A Newbie returned to Silent Hill, made $3.2 million in its first weekend of release. Here's a bit of an Oscar bump. 8 was Hamnet, which made $2 million, which is an increase of 48%. It added 1,278 theaters, but it's still at only $17.6 million in its ninth weekend of release. And you know what? Let's go to 9 because The Lord of the Rings had a re-release that made $2 million. So technically, it and Hamnet are tied.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually opened last weekend, this re-release of The Fellowship of the Rings. So made $2 million this weekend, down 44%. It added a 1,354 theaters. I'm not going to get into how much it's made because that was a long time ago. But number 9. And then our buddy Ben, number 10, Primate, 1.6, down 67%, lost 819 theaters. It's at $23.5 million in its third weekend of release. That's your top 10.
All the way to 10. That was a necessary plow. That was a powerful plow, the plow that we needed on this storm weekend. I mean, here's the headline, Clayton, from Anthony D is for covering this storm. D. Alessandro over at Deadline, must read. Headline is Monster Winter Storm takes its toll on the box office. Lowest weekend with $58 million. Going deeper into that, this weekend is off 10% from the same weekend a year ago. This could end up being the lowest weekend of the year. Anthony D is putting it on the storm. And I gotta say, I think I agree with him. You know, listen, there's a lot of reasons for why things are bad right now. You look at Mercy, a movie about AI, that's a problem. Chris Pratt, not a movie star outside of franchises, that's a problem. But I'm going hard on this storm is a disaster because it's snow out there. The snow is bad, but there's ice out there in the streets, on the sidewalks. Ice is out there, and I think it's ruining everything. What do you think, Clayton? Would you put it on that? Because it's a snowstorm. and we got ice everywhere. And I got to say, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, it doesn't foster like a comfortable film going experience. It doesn't feel like, hey, let's go see a movie with all this ice everywhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it doesn't really
Yes.
make you want to leave your house and go see, something like Mercy, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Because you're like, well, what's Mercy at this point? Where we could use a little bit of mercy from all this, from all this ice.
yes, from all this ice. Yeah, the ice is everywhere and it is killing these movies. It
Mm-hmm.
is out there killing everything, this ice. Um, as a BO boy who's looking at this weekend, this disastrous weekend, lowest weekend of the year, and you look at the snowstorm and you look what's out there, I got to say it. I hate ice. I hate
Mm-hmm.
ice. Would
Yeah.
would you also say that as a BO boy, looking at this box office, looking at what's out there, the ice in the streets, causing all this chaos? I mean, do you agree?
I hate ice. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's and you look at here's the thing. You look at this box office. Disastrous box office. Lowest of the year, down 10% from a year ago. And then I'm thinking, and you got ice in the streets keeping everyone home, keeping everyone scared, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what the storm did. That's what ice is doing in the streets, is keeping all the moviegoers scared. And you look at something like Netflix, which wants to kill theaters. They must love this. The Netflix supporters with their red hats, they must love this ice.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
It's
yes.
keeping people home and scared from going to the movies, from going to see. I mean, look at that 70% drop on The Bone Temple. A good movie, 71%. That is a good movie. And because of the snowstorm, because of the ice in the streets, theater goers stayed home and they were scared to go to
Okay,
the
well,
movie.
here's what I'll say. I agree with everything you're saying, other than this Bone Temple. It good is good. Good is fine. Good is whatever.
Mm-hmm. Good
And it's like I
movie.
s- that, but the audience doesn't want it. Like it's not good in the way a general audience wants a movie to be good. It just doesn't. It's just not. Like that's the thing is, again, you can say, "Oh, it's good. Why didn't people go?" Because it just didn't give them what they wanted. And when you want to franchise a horror, if you want to commoditize
Mm-hmm.
a franchise, create a franchise, you have to give the audience what they want. So I
Okay.
hear a lot of it's like the reason this didn't do well is that the audience expectations were blah 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 blah. Yeah, absolutely, because the people who want to see these sorts of movies expect a certain thing and they didn't get it. Right? This gets into a sticky situation of like art and commerce and all that, and we talk about commerce on this podcast. We're not talking
Mm-hmm.
about good movies, we're talking about movies that make money. This franchise doesn't make money. There was a bump
Yeah.
in
Okay.
excitement for the first one in this new series because everybody thought maybe we love this
Mm-hmm.
as a general populace.
Mm-hmm.
And the general populace does not love these movies. It's just a fact. And I think this drop would have happened no matter what. Like this
No matter
drop
what.
isn't any
Okay.
steeper. And I also think we'll talk about Mercy at some point. Um, I think this movie made as much money as it was ever going to make.
Well, let's stay on Boat Temple because I got to ask you a question here. So this movie dropped 71% in its second weekend. And will there be that third movie? I think that is now. I mean, listen, and again, if you haven't seen the movie, spoiler, I'm just going to mention this again because we got to talk about it in relation to a third 28 years later movie. All right, here we go. Cillian Murphy was in the end of Bone Temple, is set up to be the star of the third movie. Now they haven't filmed this movie yet. They filmed the last two, the Ray Fiennes movies, back to back. Came out in June and came out last week. They haven't filmed this third one with Cillian Murphy. Now, after a 71% second weekend drop, this movie is at what, 20 million domestic total? Now I'll even say I don't know if it's a slam doink that the third one gets made.
Yeah. I mean, what's sort of unfortunate is that I have on good authority that the porno parody for the third one has been made.
Oh,
And
oh
it
wow.
has the Cillian Murphy character in it,
Oh,
right? And so that could put a cramp into that, which is like, listen, porn industry's been struggling for a long time because of the internet, right? I mean,
and
we're
I
talking
do
about
care that it's struggling. I do
yeah,
care that it's struggling.
right. Like streaming, of course, has tried to decimate theatrical movie going, and of course streaming has decimated the porn film going,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yes, that's sad. That's sad to me. That had already been, they shot them all together because it's cheaper, because
Mm-hmm.
they had the mansion where they shot it for like a week, and so they just shot
Okay.
everything there.
Yeah, yeah.
um they were like, let's just do all three of these at once and make some more. They did the Lord of the Rings thing
Yes.
with these 28 years later porno parodies.
Yeah,
But
the Boner Temple movies. And I will give this company credit, because nowadays in porno, you see more and more they're shooting everything in front of a green screen. They
mhm.
just rent a warehouse and they green screen in the background, green screen in an apartment, they green screen in a basement, they green screen in the side of a pool, they green screen in the back of a car, green screen in. They never film them on location anymore. These 28 years later porno parodies, these Boner Temple movies, they rented that Airbnb for a week to
Mhm.
shoot everything on location so that they would have the backyard that they put a tent over so that the neighbors couldn't see. They did it on location. They put their money where their mouth is. They put other things where their mouths are. And they filmed all three of these movies, not in a warehouse with green screen, but they shot all of those scenes in this Airbnb. God, I do not want to see them get punished for this. Because, I mean, do you think that the third 28 years later porno parody, the Boner Temple third movie, would it still have a chance at success even if the third 28 years later movie doesn't get made? Or is it screwed?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It depends on how you promote this. If I were them,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, it's a novelty that we made a porno parody for a movie that never got released. It's like, if somebody made a porno parody of The Day the Clown Cried,
Mm-hmm.
which, I mean, that movie in itself was a tough needle, to thread.
That's a
I,
tough sit. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine a porno parody
Mm-hmm.
from it being,
Yeah.
respectable or tasteful. But if
Yeah.
they would have done that, I think that's something you could sell, right?
Mm-hmm.
This, I
Mm-hmm.
just think they're so unsuccessful. This franchise is so unsuccessful, and the general audience has turned their back on that like, that might not be enough. The fact that
Yeah.
this thing didn't get, the actual Hollywood film didn't get made, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is a bummer for them. But yeah, I think, and
I
we
mean, the
had this.
original did do well, though. The original porno parody from the early 2000s, the 28 Dicks Later,
Mm-hmm.
that movie did Boffo DVD sales and Boffo DVD rentals. So there is juice in this porno parody series. But yeah, if the third Cillian
But it
Murphy
was a
movie doesn't get made,
one-shot deal. I think that's what we're finding out about this franchise in
I,
general.
I saw
on
that. No, I
both
saw that.
ends.
I will just say I saw that porno parody. It was more than one shot. There was
Okay,
more than one shot in there.
you're
So
right.
I can't say that. It was not a one-shot deal porno parody 28 Dicks Later back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I think that for the general franchise, the Sony franchise,
Yes, the Sony franchise.
I
The
don't,
non-porno franchise.
as it'll be referred to forever on this show, as a
Yeah.
non-porno franchise.
Yeah.
I don't think, and we had this conversation, I would say, conversation, some would say an argument, about
Mhm.
Cillian Murphy being any sort of draw.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that this gets greenlit because of him. Now, if you had Brad Pitt, how do you say his name? I can't. Did you say Brad? You say Brad, right? That's how you say the
I,
superstar's name
I
that everybody knows, household name. Where Cillian, you don't. I mean, really know what his name is.
mhm.
So, yeah, I think that doesn't matter. I don't think the money man are looking at Cillian / Murphy and being like, well, we gotta green light this because he'll put the butts in his seats. It's
He's
not going to happen.
Oppenheimer. He's Oppenheimer, though.
But what did Oppenheimer do? Oppenheimer created the bomb, and once the bomb was created, nobody gives a shit about Oppenheimer. The sequel to Oppenheimer of this guy just wringing his hands and being sad all the time would make zero money.
All right, well, here's the thing. The porno parody of Oppenheimer did huge business.
Yeah.
Huge business. We know this. All right? Because, listen, there's a porno parody BO Boys show that covers that we are in communication with. We have a good relationship with them. And they did the numbers. While we were covering Barbenheimer, they were covering Oppenheimer, and those numbers were off the charts. So I do think porno parodies of Cillian Murphy movies can work.
Yeah.
But will the actual movie to be parodied come out? That's the problem.
Well, also, but again, Oppenheimer was released on the same day as Booby.
Yeah.
Right? And so that gave it a bump.
Yeah, Boobenheimer was a huge event, as covered by the BO Boys parody, porno parody podcast. We're gonna see. We're gonna be covering this story.
Which, if anybody's looking for that, This Ain't Your BO Boys is the name of the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do great work. Give them 5 stars on Silk Road. That is where they're broadcast.
Oh yeah, it's dark web shit.
Yeah, but they do great work. They do great coverage. Maybe we should have them on at some point. The more I think of it, I know there's some legal issues about where they broadcast from.
I think I'm good. Tell your men I'm good.
Okay.
Tell your men I'm
okay.
good.
I just fear that if we did a show together, they might get extradited, and that would be a problem for them.
Yeah.
So, that's where we're at on the Bone Temple movies. We'll cover that. We'll cover the Boner Temple movies as they hopefully both get to their finale that we could watch. Return to Silent Hill at number 7, at lucky number 11 from Iconic releasing. So this is a video game adaptation. I'm looking here. It is loosely based on the 2001 Konami game Silent Hill 2, and it's the 3rd film in the Silent Hill film series and a reboot of the series. Return to Silent Hill, were you aware of this at all coming into this weekend, Clayton?
Yeah, I knew this was coming out. I did not think it would make the top 5, so I didn't think it was worth talking about, especially with the Oscars coming out. We did that great show with Mike and the Oscars. So I think that was more important. Silent Hill, listen, it made $3.2 million on a weekend with ice everywhere. I mean, that's something.
Oh God. Yeah, this is great. I mean, listen, an Iconic releasing distributed film to get to that 3 million is probably as good as they could have hoped for. Did you know that this movie, there was originally a version of this Silent Hill movie that was written by Roger Avery that I guess then got turned into a video game. But Roger Avery was working on this in 2006. So there's something. This is the weekend for it.
That's a long time ago.
I don't know any of these actors. Jeremy Irvine plays James Sunderland, an alcoholic painter. So there's your lead character in this video game series, is an alcoholic painter. And Hannah Emily Anderson as Mary Crane. She's known for Jigsaw. Okay, she was in Jigsaw, so that's good.
A horror veteran.
So, this movie really just has... Was this $3 million of, do you think, gamers or of gorehounds? Who went to this weekend? Who braved ice this weekend? got past all this ice in the streets to get to the movie theater, survived that. Were they more gorehounds or gamers?
God, that's a good question. I feel like it could be an even split,
Okay.
or it could be a hybrid, some sort of hybrid monstrosity of
Oh
gamer or
God.
gorehound. So someone
Yeah.
who just plays like um video games surrounded by, busts of Freddy and, Art the Clown and
Right.
Chucky. And yeah, I mean, it's
Pinhead.
possible.
Yeah.
Pinhead. Yeah. The
Yeah.
full, like
Yeah.
a, completely life-sized, anatomically correct Pinhead that they have in the corner that they just look at.
You
Just
do
for
you think
show. It's just for show.
you don't think they do anything with that
No,
Pinhead?
just for show. Why? No, just for show. It's just for
I,
show, Pat.
I think maybe these gamers who are also gorehounds, they take their anatomically correct Pinhead, and I think they place them in a gaming chair next to their gaming chair and put a little control in the Pinhead statue's hands.
Yeah.
And I think that's the person that went to see Return to Silent Hill this weekend. Someone who sits next to in their gaming chair a life-size anatomically correct Pinhead and has them hold a video game controller while they play The Sims.
And they would correct you and say, actually, Pinhead was a name created by the fans. It wasn't his actual name. He is known
Right.
as Lead Cenobite.
Lead Cenobite. They would definitely say that. That is the exact person that went to the theater this weekend to go see this movie. You have to be that level of devoted, I guess you would say.
I was going to say deviant, but devoted.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely they're starting with DEV in their description for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them. Thank you for them. Here's what I got to say. Thank you to those gamers who play beside an anatomically correct statue of Pinhead in their basements for going to see this movie this weekend and getting it to over $3 million. Thank you for your service.
Now, do you think the character Mario would have been more or less successful if he would have been, instead of a plumber, an alcoholic painter?
Okay. I mean, there have been so many Mario games, and I have to say, I have been out of the gaming scene for a while, probably since I started college. There had to have been an edition of Mario Party or Mario World or Super Smash
Mario
Brothers.
Mario Paint Job or something.
Oh, there was a Mario Paint. I'm sure
He was drunk.
Oh, he was drunk at some point in these last 30 years. Had to have been. There had to have been at least one Mario game based around him dealing with his sobriety issues.
Well, Dr. Mario was on pills.
Oh, yes.
Like, that's canon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a Nurse Jackie situation.
Yeah. Yeah. He was prescribing him to anyone who asks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they put him on leave for a while, Dr. Mario. But he snuck back in there. So, yeah, I mean, good for this movie. Good for Return to Silent Hill. Zero promotion that I've seen, but getting to that 3 million on this ice-ridden weekend is pretty solid.
Pat, can I say, like, I would have been scared if you would have gotten promotion for Silent Hill.
If it
Return to
reached
Silent Hill. Like, if it reached you, I'd be like, what is Pat doing that I don't know about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If I came in this weekend and I just said, man, I got to talk for 45 minutes straight about Return to Silent Hill because I've just been inundated on every platform with promotion for it.
I'd be thinking, what platforms is he on?
Right. If I came in, it's like, I have read and seen more about this movie than any other media in the last year. This is my Super Bowl. If I came in and said, again,
big game.
Backtrack, big game. This is my big game, is Return to Silent Hill. Yeah, that would have been reason for you, and I know we're remote, but probably to send a wellness check to my door.
Mm-hmm.
That Pat is seeing a lot of Return to Silent Hill propaganda. Can we get some doctors and health professionals to go take a look at him?
let's talk a little let's talk about this top. What are we gonna say?
I was gonna say I think it's not the BO Boys, our porno parody show. They probably have getting a lot of media promoting Return to Silent Hill.
Yes.
I think they're well aware of it. They're well aware of the porno parody, the Silent Hills movies.
That's coming across their desk, if you will.
Yes, for sure.
Let's talk a little bit about this top 4. We'll talk
Okay.
2, 3, 4 because it's, pretty much staying very similar. I mean, obviously, Avatar got dethroned by Mercy, which is a sad fate. You would hope it'd be a better movie to dethrone Avatar, but you've got Housemaid and Zootopia 2 sort of right next to each other, elbow to elbow, which they have been for weeks. Again, the Zootopia 2 perverts are very well stationed for this sort of weather because they have the long coats, they have the galoshes for the splashing, for all the liquid. So they've already been wearing the sort of uniform you would need to go outside today to the theater. So they were already equipped.
Yeah, but except though they're not layering. Like I know they have the long coats, but when it's this cold out, it's really important that you have something on under the coats. And I think that is a problem for them. I could see some of the Zootopia perverts, oh, I got my long coat, I'm fine. But then they get out there and you look down and there's icicles on some things.
Well, I do think this is an excuse for them to finally go full furry costume. At least the not the head part, because you might not be able to see through. I think this is their full on be like, it's the warmest thing I own.
Yes. Okay, you're right then. Yeah, that's why. Because I was thinking this might have been a weekend where Zootopia 2 was going to take a big dip, and it didn't. And I didn't account for they're going in full furry outfits this weekend.
Yeah.
Under the guise of it's so cold out.
It's the warmest thing I own.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense then. When do you think? All right, I mean, it's now or never. It's kind of next weekend or it's never going to happen. Are we going to get the flip where Housemaid gets ahead of Zootopia 2, or is that time passed? And
I think that time has passed.
Wow.
There would need to be some sort of additional scene added to the Housemaid, or additional like, here, we're going to tack on this promotion for the next Housemaid movie that we shot very quickly with Sydney Sweeney, who is the draw for this movie and the only reason anybody would want to see this movie other than the fact that it was a big book. Maybe they have her shoot something at home and tack it on to the end of the movie, and then you get that bump because it's extra material.
What if it was she filmed a sequel to her jeans ad and they stick that into a new version of The Housemaid next weekend? That they're announcing Housemaid, new footage, not new footage from the movie because we actually used everything we shot, but Sydney Sweeney from home shot some footage for a new jeans ad. And we're adding that on at the end of this movie. I mean, that's what could get you over the Zootopia 2 and all their furries going to see this movie.
Is she parodying it? The Gene ad? I think if she parodied it.
No, I think this is
a regular parody, not like porno parody.
No, not a porno parody. Not like our it's not the BO Boys porno parody podcast, which is a great show. And
this ain't the BO Boys.
This ain't the BO Boys. Yeah. This is just earnest new jeans ad footage that she shot and they're tacking onto The Housemaid. I think that could be what gets it up to number 2, but they'd have to announce that immediately. They pretty much, there's NFL football on today. I think today is where you announce that.
Yeah.
That coming weekend, Housemaid's going to have Sydney Sweeney brand new jeans ad footage.
See, this is why the Oscars need to be more they should look more at the general audience, because if The Housemaid snuck into Best Picture,
Mm-hmm.
then you get a bump for sure.
Yes.
Because then all the snobs have to see The Housemaid.
Yes.
That would have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. What got a bump? Looking at this, you mentioned Hamnet at number 8, went up 48%. It made $2 million this weekend. It's now up to 17.6 domestic. That is definitely the biggest Oscar bump, right?
I mean, Marty didn't get a bump because he didn't need it.
Yeah, that movie it just had a really good hold. In its 6th weekend, it only dropped 36%, only lost 6 theaters. So I would kind of count that as a bump in that it just, after the noms, it just held so well again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now up to 86 million. I mean, I think the Oscar bump for Marty Supreme is, can it get to 100 million domestic?
God, I mean,
can it get another basically $14 million domestic?
If I'm A24, I want to make that happen. I want that milestone. I want that $100 million domestic. Because as much as, our box office daddy, Scott Mendelson, says that doesn't matter as much, I think it does. I think that 100 million matters.
It's a magic number. It just is.
Yeah.
It just is. So, yeah, I don't know if A24 is going to need tricks to get it there. It really could just be keep it in theaters, find a way to just keep this thing in theaters, and it will get there in the next 6 weeks. I got to check the day-by-days from Marty Supreme, but I assume the day-by-days are still pretty good during the weekdays. And if it just makes it's like 2 million a weekend, a couple of million during the week for the next like 4 or 5 weeks until the Oscars, it'll get to 100 million domestic, but it's got to just hold its theaters. But yeah, Hamnet got the bump. Is there a version now of Hamnet's run where it picks up steam? It's at 17.6. Like, I mean, is this a movie that could get itself to 30 million?
No, because
this was the bump.
Because I think really if you're following the Oscars, you're realistically only looking at Jesse Buckley winning something.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be enough. Now, if Paul Mescal would have gotten the nomination, then that's something, because then you're seeing that duo. If Chloe Zhao was actually in the race for director, that would make a difference. I don't think she is. I don't think it's in the race for Best Picture. I think the talk is Sinners right now. I think it's, One Battle versus Sinners. And that's really what you're looking at. And that's going to be the story. And those movies are going to get re-releases because of that. So they're going to get a little bit of extra box office juice, which would be good.
That's coming this Friday, January 30th. That weekend is the Sinners and One Battle re-releases, right? Because I know they're getting some IMAX screens coming up. So I don't think that has happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet, no, but it's happening. I don't know the exact date, but it hasn't. No, it didn't happen this weekend. Smartly.
So a movie
Smartly.
A movie that didn't get an Oscar bump, Song Sung Blue, got the Kate Hudson nom on Thursday. That movie is all the way down at like 16th, 17th, and it dropped 54% in its 5th weekend. It lost 440 theaters. That movie isn't getting people to rush out to it because they heard Kate Hudson got a nom.
No, this is one of those movies that now it's, you can search for this and find it on PVOD, and I think that's what the oldsters are doing. I think this is an oldster movie, and I think they're definitely, it's making Buffo PVOD money, but it ain't it's not coming into the theaters. That money ain't going to the theaters.
Okay. So they're PVOD. Okay. Well, listen, we're not going to cover that aspect of it because we are not the Streamo Boys, huh? But the Streamo Boys do have a great show. They don't actually cover PVOD. They cover something else, the Streamo Boys, but I do say they are worth a listen on Pornhub, the Streamo Boys. Great show. So, but we are not them, huh?
Huh.
So,
Let's have it.
Number
Oh,
10. Okay, let's just do it. Mercy number 1, right? Let's get into it.
Primate. What the fuck are you doing?
Last weekend in the top 10, I just wanted to give Ben his due, because start next weekend, Ben will no longer be in the top 10. And
I
just
love
wanted to
Ben.
say goodbye to Ben. I wanted to say goodbye to this chimp. He
Yep.
is a chimp.
Yep. Thank you.
Not that it matters.
It matters
but
to him.
He is a chimp, and I wanted to give him his due on what is probably his last weekend in the top 10. I guess barring these Lord of the Rings re-releases, if they fall out, but probably this is the end of Ben in the top 10.
Yeah.
23.5 million. Maybe he gets himself to 25 million. Probably will. Hope we get Primate 2. What is more likely, do you think, on this day, that we get Primate 2 or Bone Temple 3, or we ever get to see the Boner Temple Part 3?
Boner Temple Part 3 will be released.
Will be released. Okay, and we will release.
Because at the end of the day, even if it's a movie nobody knows the plot to, it has its function.
Yes.
And I think it still works for its function.
Yeah.
So I think that's a definite coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it, and listen, everyone's going to say, you're a Homer, you're a Ben lover. We know how much you guys love Primate. Honestly, I think it's cheaper to make a Primate 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see this movie go crazy on PVOD and streaming.
Yeah.
The downstream, again, is important.
Mm-hmm.
Primate will be a better thing to have on your streamer than a 28 years later movie.
Wow. Okay. I mean, it is. Listen, Primate is more fun for sure.
Yeah.
Ben is very fun, and I hope we get to see more Ben Part 2. But yeah, this was our weekend to probably say goodbye. So let's get to it now.
Here's the thing, and you brought this up, so you brought this on yourself.
Okay.
Here's what I say. If I'm Cillian Murphy, I am saying I'm not doing this third movie.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing Primate 2.
Wow. Okay.
I want to own a monkey.
Mm-hmm.
I want to own a monkey, and I want that monkey to rip everybody's jaw off, and then I want to save people from a monkey. That's what I want to do.
Not fight zombies in the UK.
No.
Own a monkey in a remote island.
Or wherever they listen.
Wherever he goes,
They can come to him if they want. If he wants them to do it in England, they do it in England. If they want him to do it in Ireland, whatever, because that's the power he'd have on the set of Primate 2.
Mm-hmm. The monkey comes to me.
I'm sorry to Alex Garland and Danny Boyle, Cillian Murphy's the monkey.
Okay, he's the monkey.
He's their monkey.
He's their monkey. Okay, and by monkey you mean chimp, not gorilla.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't matter, it's all the same.
It matters a lot. It matters a ton. Actually.
Functionally the same, though. So
not really at all.
So number 1 was Mercy, from Amazon MGM. This is a movie, of course, about a subject that I'm sure audiences are really psyched about, is seeing a cop team up with AI to get away with murder. So that is the pitch of this movie. That is clearly something any audience right now would want, is your hero is a cop who teams up with AI to get away with murder. That is what Mercy is selling, and it only made 11 million with that incredibly pertinent pitch.
And here's what I'll say. Well, number 1, you've heard the story that Chris Pratt wanted the Rebecca Ferguson character to be played by an actual AI actor.
Oh, wow. Okay. Not Rebecca. Oh, wow. Interesting. That is what he wanted. So MGM didn't give him that.
No, I guess they weren't woke enough to give him that, because he was like, well, if it's an AI judge, then it should be played by AI, I guess.
Right.
So I think he was just trying to be woke.
Do you think that he wanted to co-star with AI so that then he could really know that he was going to blow his co-star off the screen in a way that he probably hasn't had a chance to do in a while. You know, because this movie, now he's got to act against Rebecca Ferguson, who's, you know, listen, she's been an actress for a long time, big movies. He's got to act to her level.
Mm-hmm.
If he was acting, you know, side by side with ChatGPT, he probably could feel like, okay, I could really coast on this one.
Well, he'd be teaching while he's acting because the AI actor would be learning from him.
Right.
Now,
right.
is that positive? Is that positive or negative? I mean, it's whatever you think Chris Pratt's talent is, but he would feel like he was mentoring. I think.
Okay, so it's an altruistic motive he had for wanting to act opposite ChatGPT.
Yeah, it was about representation,
representation,
which is important.
Very important. Almost as important as anonymity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And free speech, of course.
Of course.
And so I think that was the dual things that this, you know, altruistic man was trying to do. And then all of a sudden the media turned on him and said, isn't it stupid that he wanted AI to have AI actors to have representation?
Right. And forced a person upon him to act
how dare
opposite.
he? Yeah. I mean, how would this person know how to act like a robot?
So, this movie cost $60 million apparently, which, you know, is, I guess, not as bad as it could have been. But again, the thing about one of the things that people knew about this movie is that a lot of it was going to be Chris Pratt sitting in a chair. And now that we've seen this opening, $11 million, can we say that was not as enticing of a sell as it could have been? That people did not want to see Chris Pratt sit in a chair for an entire movie.
I feel like here's I'm looking at this top 5. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you go to the movies, a lot of times you want to, it's aspirational, right?
Yes.
So you're looking at Avatar. It's like, we all want to date that witch. Mm-hmm. The right. We all want
the fire witch. Oh, we all wanted
the fire witch.
We love the fire witch. Step on me, fire witch. Yes.
Yeah.
Crush my bones.
Yeah. It's aspirational to want to do that. So that's aspirational. Zootopia 2, of course, a fascist world run by cops where you can be covered in fur. That's aspirational to a lot of perverts.
Yep.
The Housemaid, hanging out with Sydney Sweeney, aspirational.
Yep.
And then we're going to skip Bone Temple because there's nothing aspirational about that.
And it's
Marty
bombing,
Supreme.
so, yeah.
And it's bombing. Marty Supreme. Listen, you might not want to be the best ping pong player in the world, but you want to be the best at something. You want to aspire to be a Marty Supreme who will do anything for success.
Yes.
When you look at Mercy, it's a guy sitting in a chair looking at a screen.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing in the theater. It's not aspirational. It's exactly what you're doing.
Right. And it's what you're doing when you're hearing about the movie itself. You know, like you're being shown a commercial for Mercy about a man sitting in a chair looking at a screen, and you're in a chair looking at a screen. It's not going to inspire you to, I have to get out of my house and get out of this chair and stop looking at the screen so I could go in another chair and look at another screen to watch a man sit in a chair and look at a screen.
Yes.
It's too many chairs and it's too many screens at this point.
Yeah. And I think that's a major, major down for this movie. And I said it at the beginning of the show that this movie made as much money as it was ever going to make. Mm-hmm. Because I think the people who wanted to see this movie didn't care about ICE.
Okay.
So, I mean, they weren't afraid.
They like it.
They like it.
They like
ICE. They're like, more ICE.
That the people who loved Chris Pratt and loved Mercy, a lot of them, not all of them, but I think a lot of them would say, yeah, that they like ice, as
Yeah.
opposed to, listen, the BO boys who love theaters saw what this storm did this weekend, saw what ice does, and our take is fuck ice. That
Yeah.
is the BO boys take. But yeah, there probably are people who love Chris Pratt who did not have that same feeling about ice.
Yeah, and so I
and the
think this
snowstorm.
movie made as much as it was going to make. And
Okay.
and again, if I know you were saying that it was down, and I think a lot of these other ones were down because of it. This is the one movie that cannot blame the current circumstances for bombing.
So
It was a movie no one wanted to see, and nobody extra would have seen this movie if it was the brightest day, the clearest day, with the most sun, with no ice in sight. It would have made $11.2 million.
Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Now, I know he's Mario, and that movie is going to come out in a couple
and
of
he's
months.
Garfield.
He is Garfield, but Garfield is
watch it.
Not
you watch it. You watch it.
I know you hate Mondays, Clayton. I do
hate
know
them.
I know you hate them. I'm always surprised by how much you love lasagna because of other eating issues that you have, and but you do love lasagna. So
it's got everything. It's got everything you need.
So I do know that you love Garfield. You were very excited years ago, thinking much like Bill Murray that the Coen brothers had written a Garfield script.
I was so excited.
You were so excited. I know that.
We were one H away from it being.
Yes, from it being would have been
Ethan
to you
Coen.
the greatest movie of all time. Now that we have seen the Ethan Coen solo movies.
Well, that's the thing.
Honey Don't. That would have been a Garfield movie with a lot more dildos. We could definitely say that animated Garfield, if it had been written by Ethan Coen of the Coen brothers, there would have been a dildo in that lasagna.
Well, also, and I think that Garfield would have kicked Odie off the table and he would have landed on a dildo.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Do you think that is the original script that Bill Murray read when he thought it was one? Did he actually read an Ethan Coen of the Coen brothers Garfield script? It was too dildo based, so the studio switched to Ethan Coen and took out all the dildo references.
It's very possible.
It's very possible. So I know you love Garfield, but Chris Pratt's Garfield movie did fine a couple of years ago, open on Memorial Day against Furiosa. Did fine, but that is not a blockbuster franchise. His big franchise, of course, is Mario. That second one's going to come out in a couple of months and probably do $1.5 billion worldwide. So he's got that, but he doesn't have Star-Lord in a real way anymore. The Jurassic movies have moved on without him. And he really has not ever opened a movie that is not IP, that is not him clinging to IP or doing the voice of a big animated character. Like, there is no signature Chris Pratt vehicle.
Passengers
got that 100 million because of J-Law.
Yeah.
Aspirational.
Let's unthaw J-Law.
That is an aspirational premise, is be in space with just you and J-Law. That's an aspirational premise for sure. So listen, he's fine. We're not sitting here saying this is the end of Chris Pratt, but this really feels like a nail in the cross for Chris Pratt of this guy is not a movie star other than jamming him into IP.
But he did a thing which is what a lot like Wahlberg did it. Who's the comedian that always worked with The Rock and
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart. I can't believe you forgot the name of Kevin Hart, despite all of his commercials that he's given us the last few years. And
that's true.
And his various web series. He does have a Crackle series that just came out. Yes, they've pivoted to streaming, and Chris Pratt has done all these streaming, but his streaming movies, and we're not the Streamo Boys, huh? Definitely watch them on RedTube, the Streamo Boys, but his streaming movies bomb at the
No,
level that
that's actually not very true.
Electric State was a bomb.
Electric State was a bomb, but Tomorrow War, whatever that movie was called, did very well. Like
On Streamo, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like his stuff doesn't do well on streaming services, because it did up until Electric State. At least as much as we know from whatever we're told, which is all misinformation anyway. Right?
Yes, it's all misinformation.
So yeah, you give the people wearing the Netflix red hats. I mean, they thrive on misinformation, right? So
Yes.
so we can't take what they say about these streaming movies to heart. But yes, he's denigrated himself by doing those movies, because there was no way to see what his trajectory as a star was. When you look at someone like Timothée Chalamet, he did one Netflix movie, did The King or whatever. Everybody forgets about that movie.
So long ago.
But so long ago.
So long.
He has, since he started popping off, we can look at his numbers. And we can look at that and see his popularity. We can see people who are saying, I'm going to take my hard-earned money and I'm going to slap it down and see this young gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
We can't chart that for Chris Pratt. So that's why it's so hard for us to know whether people give two craps about him anymore, because there's no way to quantify that.
I mean, we could
What?
quantify it with this weekend. Mercy. Original movie starring Chris Pratt, $11 million.
But also, you
big
have to
budget
build-
movie, and no one went.
You have to build the muscle memory for fans to allow them to go out of the house and see you, and he didn't allow that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know all of what he has coming up project-wise, but does this push him away, or even push studios away from wanting to use him again in this way?
I think so. I don't think he's worth the money that you can get him for. I'm sure he asked for a big payday or back end or something. It's not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it. Like, why add $20 million or $15 million to your budget when you could get somebody else to be in this movie?
Frank Grillo. I mean,
God, he just read my mind.
Right? It's why pay $20 million to get Chris Pratt in a original theatrical action movie at this point instead of Frank Grillo?
Get Frank Grillo, make this movie for $5 million, and if this movie makes $20 million at the box office, there you go. And you can sell it to all these foreign markets and put it on all these streamers. That's what you do. Like, you don't, Frank Grillo was like, I'll bring my own wardrobe.
Is Chris Pratt, as a theatrical box office lead, theatrical movie lead, is he less useful than Jerry Butler and Jason Statham?
Oh, Statham, 100%. He is less useful than Statham. Gary, yes. It's hard not to look at Greenland as a failure. It is, but he did have, he has his successes. If it's
Jerry Butler in the chair, Gerard Butler is sitting in the chair of Mercy, and this is a Jerry Butler January movie. Again, Greenland 2 Migration, that is a premise that just doesn't appeal to his fan. It's too non-action star. It's too heady. The word migration is not a kick-ass word for some. We went through all that. That's not a great Jerry Butler vehicle, the Greenland movies. But if it was Jerry Butler in Mercy, opposite Rebecca Ferguson, sitting in this chair, does this movie do a penny less than the Chris Pratt version, $11.3 million?
It doesn't, but I'll tell you what.
Price?
I'll tell you what. Jerry's not sitting in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry's looking at this script.
Yeah.
And he's looking at this nerd director and being like, why are you doing these movies about screens all the time, you nerd?
Yeah.
Let me kick someone's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you putting me in a chair? Because you sit in a chair all day, you nerd?
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying it in the charming way that Jerry Butler could, because he has the accent. He's not saying it in a way that I sound, which I sound like really shrill and judgmental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, terrible. You sound terrible.
I sound terrible. I sound like everything wrong on the internet, but he is like kind of taking a piss with the guy, but he's also really touching his soul in a way where he's like,
Yep.
you need to fix yourself, son.
Yep.
He would never do this script because he wouldn't sit in the chair.
He wouldn't sit in the chair.
Like, he'd be in the chair for 5 seconds, rip the whatever, like, cuffs that were holding him down, throw the chair through the screen.
Mm-hmm. Walk through that screen.
Walk through the screen, go out on the street, and bust some heads.
Yes.
So that's what he would do. So, yes, but again, if there was some reason why Jerry Butler did this movie, read the script and said, this isn't a script written by a complete and total nerd, it would have made the same amount.
Yeah. Butler's quote would be so much less than what Chris Pratt is getting.
Yes.
So this movie would have cost way less. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Chris Pratt is so below B-star level when it comes to anything that's not IP. And of course, people will come back with all movie stars need IP nowadays, blah, 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 which is not completely true.
Leo, Timmy.
Right, exactly. So there's stars who get hits done without it being IP. Yeah. Chris Pratt is, when he doesn't have IP propping it up, is below B-star level.
Yes.
Yeah. He's below a Wahlberg. If this was Mark Wahlberg in Mercy, I mean, that's a tough one because Mark Wahlberg's really past his sell-by date.
But Flight Risk made 11.5, so it made more. Yeah,
exactly. Flight Risk, which was sold as a much wonkier movie. Like, Mercy was pitched to be, this is a big movie. This is getting IMAX. This is a big movie, and it's still open to 11.3. Wahlberg in a Mel Gibson directed movie where Mel Gibson was basically just using that to show, hey, I could show up sober for 30 days straight. That's what Flight Risk was. Those two movies opening the same really show that, yeah, Chris Pratt is below Wahlberg level as a star.
Yeah. He definitely, Mel Gibson was like, the studio wanted to
Proof
know
of life.
and that he wouldn't show up like the lead of the Silent Hill franchise, drunk.
Yes.
A drunk artist, a drunk painter. Now, you could say that Mel paints with celluloid. I would say that.
Okay.
And so he's very much like the protagonist of the Silent Hill video games and movies. And so, but they didn't want that. You don't want that behind the camera.
Yeah,
that's one thing to be a protagonist in a franchise of video games and movies, but not the guy in charge.
Yeah. So that's what Flight Risk was that, and it's still open to what Mercy did this weekend. So Chris Pratt, I think he's not going to push for more theatrical starring roles because it's just setting himself up for more embarrassment. And the studios, I think after a weekend like this, are going to say he's not worth it. He's a B-level star other than when he's propped up with like giant IP, because again, this is his big hits were Marvel, Jurassic Park movies, and the Super Mario Brothers. Mm-hmm. To me, it's again, I know people might look at the show and say we're Timmy, but those are much bigger, sure things than the Dune movies were, and a Willy Wonka prequel musical. I know those are IP, but I think those are IP that could have easily bombed, unlike, I think, a Jurassic Park reboot.
And when you look at ping pong, just like, okay, let's talk about ping pong. When you went to the arcade as a kid, what were you playing? You were playing video games, not ping pong.
Right.
And this guy's making a ping pong movie a hit. I mean, that is the difference here.
Yeah. So I think that is what this weekend solidified. It's not anything we didn't know already, but Chris Pratt really doesn't mean anything as a movie star other than being someone who could safely show up to be there on the set of a big IP movie.
Yeah, he's not 16 hours late the way The Rock is.
Exactly. Yes.
We know of. And he doesn't pee in Voss bottles. We know of.
That we know of. So, yeah. So that is pretty much that. I feel like Mercy is God. That is going to be a movie that is going to fall off the face of the earth. We could talk about that in our weekend preview episode in a few days. But starting at 11 million, the movie feels like it's been a punchline for the last month. That's a movie that could do a Morbius, Bone Temple type drop at this point next weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's see. Real quick, just want to get to a couple of emails. We love getting our emails from the boboyspodcast@gmail.com. Got one from Wannabe Oh Boy Tyler. Subject Oscars NFL crossover. Boys, since annual NFL playoff loser Josh Allen will likely be at the Oscars with his wife, Haley Stanfield, do you think Conan will use this as a chance to make a Diane Warren joke? And then here's the script from Tyler. Conan, NFL superstar Josh Allen is in the building tonight. Crowd cheers and pretends to know ball. Conan, just know, Josh, life could be worse. Camera cuts to Diane Warren. What do you guys think? So that's from Tyler. I do like this. I love getting a Josh Allen is a loser in the NFL and a Diane Warren is a loser at the Oscars joke in at the Oscars. Do you think that's too heady, though, for the audience?
No, I think I think if Conan sets it up and says, give sort of a rundown of Josh's career, just a quick, Josh Allen's in the building, loser of this many AFC championships, or whatever it is. I don't even know if he gets the championship games that much. I know he has, but just sort of set it up quickly and be like, Josh, I know it's tough, but it could be worse. And the best part of this joke is that Diane Warren would not get it.
Mm-hmm.
She would, in her mind, be like, well, I'm winning tonight, so I don't know what Conan's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to see the look on her face of being like, what? Would be the best punchline of it because she's so delusional.
Yeah. I am so excited that the greatest prank in Hollywood history is continuing with Diane Warren getting the Oscar nomination that she obviously has no chance of ever winning because they're never going to win because it is a prank. And I think that the Oscars should go all in on this as part of the promotion for the telecast is, be a part of Hollywood's most glamorous night, be a part of cinema's biggest celebration, be a part of the biggest ongoing prank in human history. Watch Diane Warren lose again. The Academy Awards, March 15th.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you sell that.
Yeah, because it's something that you can perennially
yes,
advertise because the winners change every year.
Yes, new prankers.
But only one loser stays the same.
Yep. Okay, in a couple of years, I think it's 3 years or 2 years, I forget when, 2028, 2029, the Oscars telecast goes to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Now, YouTube paid a ton of money to get the Oscars stream on YouTube. They are going to want to make sure that this prank continues into them having the rights to air the Oscars.
Well, YouTube is all about pranks. There's a thriving prank subculture on YouTube. So of course this is a marquee prank. I mean, this is something that Mr. Beast would want to get in on.
Oh my God. That is how you kick off that first Oscars telecast on YouTube in a few years is Mr. Beast becomes a big part of the prank of Diane Warren. He traps her in one of his famous warehouses, builds an entire set. But okay, listen, this is the weekend for it to talk about the Oscars in 3 years. You start off, Diane Warren is inside what she thinks is the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion or wherever they show the Oscars.
I like where this is going.
And she's sitting there and she thinks she's surrounded by movie stars, people who make movies. Of course, they are all AI, but to her, they are real.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting there and we're looking at Diane Warren. First thing we see on the telecast. And for some reason, this Oscars telecast is starting off with Best Original Song.
Yeah.
And you come out and it's Cary Grant and Marlon Brando and Audrey Hepburn.
Greta Garbo.
Greta Garbo, Audrey Hepburn, Katharine Hepburn, the five of them, they all come out. They're presenting this first award. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't know they were. And then she's like, I guess they are. Mm-hmm. And that's who's presenting it. And Katharine Hepburn, she reads the nominees, and then Audrey Hepburn opens the envelope, and then Cary Grant grabs it from her and he says, I have to be the one to read this name.
Yeah.
And the Oscar for Best Song goes to Diane Warren. And Diane Warren, she's bawling. She's kissing who she thinks is her husband. It's actually AI. She's kissing who she thinks is her kids. They're AI. She doesn't know that. She thinks those embraces are real. Those kisses are real. Goes up, makes her speech, bawling. I've been waiting for this my whole life. I didn't think it would ever happen, but it happened. And she's like, I'm holding it right now. She's holding that Oscar, and she's holding it. And she goes, I can't believe I'm holding an Oscar in my hand. And then she looks again, and it's no longer an Oscar she's holding in her hand. It's a Mr. Beast candy bar. The new flavor of his candy bar. Mm-hmm. And we cut to Mr. Beast in the control room, and he's smiling. He hits a button, and the people who she thought were her husband, he turns into code. Her children turn into code. She looks, Cary Grant, you read my name, Cary Grant turns into code. Katharine Hepburn. Everything around her turns into code. And then that all falls down to reveal she's in a Mr. Beast warehouse. And watching her on the big screen at the real Dorothy Chandler Pavilion are all of Hollywood.
Yes.
At the real Oscars. And they've watched the greatest prank in human history continue with help from YouTube's Mr. Beast. That is how you kick off the Oscars on YouTube in 2 years. Has to be.
Yeah. I'll be upset if it's anything less.
No, it can't be anything else. It has to be that. It has to be Diane Warren pranked into thinking she had just won an Oscar handed to her by Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn in front of what she thought was her family, only to reveal she's actually been in a Mr. Beast warehouse the whole time, surrounded by AI.
And the good thing about that too is that he gets to promote his candy bar.
Yes, the new flavor.
The new Feastable.
Yep.
And it's not for losers. And that's the thing. At the very end is it's not for losers in a giant crane hand like you would get from one of those games that you go and play at the pizza parlor.
Yep.
Grabs out of her hand and says, Feastables, not for losers.
Not for losers. And then he drops one onto the real stage at the real Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. And that's how you start the Oscars on YouTube, hosted by Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast walks out onto the real stage, picks up his new Feastable, unwraps it, takes a bite. Now let's begin the Oscars on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's how you start that show.
And in these YouTube Oscars, is the new Jack Nicholson our boy, Jake
Paul?
Jake Paul.
Maybe. I think it's Smosh, honestly. I think center.
Both
I think
of Smosh. You get both of them.
Yeah, I think Smosh is our new Jack sitting front row center at the YouTube Oscars. They're legends. They're the legends.
20 years. Are they wearing a together next to each other one tuxedo?
Okay. Possibly that is the type of thing that made them so popular and such legends. I think it
and then
could
they
be
just start singing the Pokemon theme.
It could be them. It could be Smosh, or I think the other candidate for being the Jack Nicholson at the YouTube Oscars is Tay Zonday, Chocolate Rain.
I don't know if he stayed as relevant.
Okay. I think you're gonna want him there though. I think you're gonna want him there at the YouTube Oscars.
Oh, he's there. I'm not saying he's not going to be there.
And in a prominent spot. Maybe not front row center, but I think he needs to be honored at those Oscars. I'm looking forward to that.
Well,
But
Rebecca Black is going to win the original song award that year.
Yes.
Over Diane Warren.
Yeah, the real one, not the one that Diane Warren thought she won, but she was actually in a warehouse surrounded by AI.
No, that's a Feastable.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. That's going to be great. And then just one last email we'll just go over real quick from Wannabe Oh Boy Jason. Just a few fast thoughts. I don't think Greenland 2's failure will hurt Gerald Butler because he's known for fun movies. Greenland 2 is not seen as fun, so people will say he was miscast versus it being his fault. Second point from Jason. I still see Cillian Murphy as the Scarecrow from the Nolan Batman films, and no one is going to see a movie for the Scarecrow. I think week 1 for the trilogy closer will be lucky to hit the most recent one's opening. And then he says, I prefer Sunday night, early Monday drops. Listening to you guys on Monday morning kicks off my week just right. Wannabe Oh Boy Jason. So he is predicting we will see a Cillian Murphy Bone Temple 3, but that it will open lower than this most recent one did.
I think at that point it's not worth. I don't think it gets made. I don't think it's worth it for the studio.
It really just at this point, these 28 years later movies, getting the third one depends on how manageable could they keep the budget, and is it worth it for Sony, which I kind of do think it will end up being worth it for them to just do this movie for Boyle to some degree. I think Alex Garland is someone you want to be in business with. And I think Cillian Murphy, if Cillian Murphy really wants to do this and this budget is like 20 million or less, I think it's a thing where Sony isn't even worried about whether it covers costs. It's just a handshake. All right, now you owe us one.
I think if I'm saying who they'd want to have a good relationship with, I say I do say Boyle. No, I'm sorry. I say Garland first, then Cillian, and then Boyle way down at the bottom. I don't think they give a crap about Danny Boyle.
Okay.
Other than if there's some sort of catalog items that they want to make sure are, they have a good relationship for him with that, but he doesn't own any of his shit anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Or they want him to direct a sequel to some. I mean, I don't know what that would be. They wanted to direct another Beatles. What if the Beatles didn't exist movie? I mean, that movie did well.
It's his best film.
Yeah, that movie did do well enough that they just may want him to direct a sequel. Like, all right, what if the Beatles still don't exist? What happens then?
I mean, why not just do I would say what if the Monkees didn't exist? What if Paul Revere and the Raiders didn't exist?
Right. That could be it. So
what if the Kinks didn't exist?
Yeah, so I could see that third one getting made just because Sony is like, all right, you all owe us one now. So we love getting those emails. So keep emailing us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at theboboyspod on Instagram, TikTok. Wannabe VP of Interns Christopher is killing it with the vertical clips. Follow us or subscribe to the Substack. We got some more stuff coming up there hopefully soon. So subscribe to the Substack. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are YouTubers. Hey, guys. And 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And, of course, we had Mike, and Oscar on our last episode. If you haven't checked them out yet, follow their show. Subscribe. I mean, this is the time of year to follow those guys because they are covering the Oscars every episode. So subscribe to Mike, and Oscar. And, we got some big things cooking the next few weeks. We're getting close to having a giant movie soon. So that's exciting. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have a biggie. And listen, our next episode, our weekend preview episode, we got a Sam Raimi movie coming out next Friday. And I'm excited for that movie. I'm excited to talk about it. So that is our next episode, weekend preview. Send help. Sam Raimi is going to be the big movie that we'll be talking about. So
Yeah.
that's all I got, Clayton.
Pat, you've said it all.
Great.
You've denied even more 834.
It's not a rallying cry. Clayton is not a rallying cry.
It is
not. It is absolutely not a rallying cry.
Maybe not for you, but it is for us. And Pat, there's nothing left to be said.
Okay. Great. So I could leave.
Except for until next time.
We'll smell you at the box office.
Nailed
Nailed it.